Hey guys, Savage Joy here with Real Progressives. I apologize ahead of time. I don't know if we're gonna have technical issues again. I'm kind of, praying to the IT gods that we don't. Unfortunately, I had issues last week, and I have this wonderful guest, so this is a reschedule. Um, Thank you so much for joining us again, Isiah James. I
My pleasure.
apologize. That was awful.
No,
Thank you for
it was
being
my fault.
amiable.
Trust me.
Well, Isaiah is actually running in District 9, which is Brooklyn. In New York, he is running for Congress. You're an Army vet
I am.
and an
I'm a disabled
activist.
Army vet.
Oh, okay.
That's the
And
reason I got out.
so, what did you do in the service?
I was an infantryman. I mean, I tell people I was infantry, and a lot of people don't know what infantry means. So the best way to describe it was if you've ever seen the movie Saving Private Ryan, Tom
Yes.
Hanks, the guys who stormed the beach, they were all infantrymen, and the Germans who were shooting at them were all infantrymen. I was an infantryman. I was the guy that was supposed to go and die for my country. That's what the job description is.
Wow. Okay. And you've also been an activist for many years.
Yes.
What got you started in that?
Um, when I got out of the army in 2013, that's when I retired. I retired at 27. Like I said, I got hurt. So when I got out of the army, I was wondering what were the reasons, or some of the reasons why I had to keep going back over there over and over again, and why my friends had to keep going back over and over again. Because when you're in the military, you just follow orders. That's what you do. You don't really question the system. You can't investigate the system because you're a part of it. So I started to look at not how things were, but why things were the way they were. And the more I investigated and the more I looked, the more angry I became. So I decided to channel that anger and to activism because I couldn't fight with a gun anymore. So I'm going to fight with my words now. I'm going to fight with my actions. So that's when I got heavily involved in activism in 2013.
Awesome. That's phenomenal. I admit I'm one of those very, common people who didn't wake up until Bernie in 2015. I wish I was aware of so much prior. So I always give props to people who have who were woke, so to speak, way before
I, I
anything,
don't I don't I don't blame those people or begrudge those people, but like for me, especially in my life, growing up as the son of an immigrant, a black man, poor, and an impoverished community, impoverished neighborhood. I mean, the intersectionality of so many of the different facets of my life. It's like I have to investigate what's going on because there's so many different constraints that are put on me just from being who I am and my brothers and sisters and people who I grew up with. So a lot of people don't really take stock of stuff until something happens to them or something happens to a friend of theirs, and then they pay attention. But it's been like this my entire life.
that is such a good point. Um, so one of your, you have an awesome platform. The first thing I wrote down was affordable housing.
Yeah,
Now, I did see something just happen last week
yeah,
for in New York for affordable housing.
yeah.
What is your plan as far as in District 9?
Okay, so my district, believe it or not, is probably the epicenter of gentrification in New York, Central Brooklyn, and my plan is to create a 21st century Mitchell Lama style housing program. And if you look at veterans like myself, we get almost a guaranteed VA home loan to be able to buy a home. But that's looking out for veterans. There's no program like that in federal government that looks out for low income and poor people. And if so I want to create a program like that where it's government backed home loans for not Freddie and Fannie Mae that are going to give you subprime loans that you can't afford, but loans from the government that with the government be able to work with you if you can't afford to pay those things, you won't lose your house. So that's my plan to create one of those. Another thing in my plan that I want to do federally is remove what they call AMI, which is area median income. So, for example, in Central Brooklyn, when developers come in and they build homes that are affordable, they use the area median income from Westchester and Staten Island, and this literally drives up the cost of affordable housing in low income communities. So my plan on the federal level would be to eliminate that and to actually price homes for the areas that they're in using the median income of the actual neighborhoods so people could actually afford to live in these homes.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you read anything or learned about anything Pete Buttigieg did in South Bend?
I'm going to be honest with you, Pete Buttigieg is just, I don't even follow him because he's not my type of candidate. So I really don't
No.
follow Pete Buttigieg. I really don't because yeah, no, he's not my cup of tea. So I don't even follow Pete Buttigieg.
Well, he's responsible for a lot of gentrification in South Bend, and he sounds like exactly like what you're discussing, the exact way. That's how South Bend is after he's been mayor for 8 years. So it's
Yeah.
kind of what it reminded me of. I know my viewers definitely have looked into this as well. But anyway, so also on your platform, which is a necessity, you have Medicare for all.
Yes.
Now, what do you think about, all of the pseudo quasi progressives coming out and saying, well, a pathway or
First of all, okay, let's get this straight. Let's get this straight. That's code word and speak and language that is written by lobbyists and the big insurance companies and the big pharma. Everybody deserves access. What the hell is access? If you can't afford the access, then you're never going to get in the door. So no, we don't need a pathway. We don't need access. We need Medicare for all. And let's be clear, we need single payer Medicare for all because Medicare for all can be construed to be a lot of different things. And that's just like when Obamacare came out, when Obama came out with his thing, Affordable Health Care Act, but the insurance companies and big pharma, all of them, and the medical device companies, they all get their hands in there and they construed this and they strained that, and then we see the law that we got. It was a good first step, but it was really, really watered down. So Medicare for all for me is single. Now listen, I am literally alive sitting here talking to you today because of government-run healthcare. If it wasn't for the caregivers at the VA, I would literally be dead a long time ago. So I know there's value in government-run healthcare, and I know that if we can put a man on the moon, we can surely get with the rest of the nations in the world to provide healthcare to our citizens. We have spent $7 trillion on war this far. Can you imagine what we could have done in this nation if we had took that money and put it towards healthcare for all or universal education or even infrastructure? We can do this, but my Medicare for all is single payer Medicare for all. There is no access or affordability. You get it. Everybody gets it.
absolutely. Elizabeth Warren, again, she kind of keeps backtracking. And today she came out and somebody asked her, would you be interested in revamping the Affordable Care Act? She said, absolutely. Which is it?
Okay, so
I don't
like
trust
I
her.
said, the Affordable Care Act granted insurance to about 33 million Americans that didn't have insurance. Okay, so there's
Mm-hmm.
still millions of people who are falling beneath the line and into the cracks who do not have that insurance. I have lived in other countries through my military service. I have seen people in Germany just walk into the hospital and get care and not have to worry about, damn, is this going to bankrupt me? I tweeted out the other day, my wife just got laid off and she has a serious medical condition and they're not bringing her back. So her insurance is going to lapse and her insurance runs out on the 30th. And they offered her Cobra, which is $1,296 a month for just her by herself. That's 97% of my rent. Like what what the hell? How are we in a country that is this rich and we are literally sentencing people to pain and agony and in some cases death because they cannot afford the insurance? I mean, this it's unbelievable. It irks me. It literally is anathema to what we espouse to be as a country, and it's wrong. And the thing about it that most people don't understand, or most people do understand, but they don't really think about it. The president is a terrible person. He's a figurehead. He will go. Those 435 members in the House and those 100 members in the Senate, those are the people that we have to get on board. Because if you never get those people on board, especially in the House, all money is appropriated from the House. If the House wanted to right now, if Nancy Pelosi was a true progressive, she literally controls the House. She could bring it up for a vote, for an up or down vote right now. Tell people where they stand. If you don't want to vote for it, by all means, don't. But now I know where you stand. But she's hemming and hawing, and she's not a true progressive. My opponent right now says, I'm for Medicare for all. Go look at her FEC donations. She takes money from United Healthcare, from Aflac, and from Aetna, and from GlaxoSmithKline. And so it's, how are you a progressive if you're literally taking money from the people who are responsible for all the suffering of everyday working people? As my grandma would say, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Absolutely. If you're taking big money from corporations, you're not progressive. Like that is the very first thing. No, you're not.
Listen,
period. I don't care who you are. Period.
Corporate interests and people's interests are diametrically opposed. If corporations cared about people, they would be nonprofits. They wouldn't be corporations. Their whole job is to make money. They don't give a damn about me or you or anybody else.
Yep, absolutely. And as far as getting politics, it's you campaign reform on platform. How do you think that a lot of people are adding that to their platform, but I think big money out of polls?
If we got big money out of politics, then the only people that you can turn to reelect you, to help amplify your message, are the people who elected you to serve. Literally, if we get big money out of politics, if money is political speech, which any political talking head would tell you that money equals political speech. That's why all candidates try to raise it. So if we get big money out of politics, then these big corporations don't have a say. We need to overturn the disastrous Citizens United, but that's another topic. So getting big money out of politics means that now everyday people have a say. We need to publicly finance elections. Well, I don't understand. And some of the stuff, it's like I'm talking to you. Some of the stuff, like just rehashing it, it makes me angry, but it makes me motivated. I'm like, these are such simple things to do. And right now, that's the reason I'm running, because we need to elect people who have integrity. And for me, it was always taught to me, integrity is the hard right over the easy wrong. It's doing the hard right, because it's really easy to take that money. They trust me, they throw it at you. But this is New York City. I am telling you right now, developers, they call and they knock, and big pharma comes. That's the easy wrong. The hard right is to say, you know what? I have principles. I'm not going to take that money. I don't care if I raise $5 in this election. I will stand on my principles, and I will advocate for my community. And at the end of the day, when I look myself in the mirror, I can be happy and proud that I spoke up for the things that needed to be said. So I trust me, we need to get big money out of politics ASAP.
Absolutely. And on that note of elections, New York has one of the most jacked up election cycles because you got to register like 10 months in advance and all this. So when do you have to register to vote for your election?
It keeps changing, honestly.
I know.
Nobody, they keep changing stuff. I don't even know. Like it was because they had the presidential primary in a certain date. Now they moved it again, and they keep saying that you have to register, by July of certain things to be able to vote next year. I'm like, I don't know what the hell New York's doing. They just keep switching it around. We need to listen. We need
They're
to get all our ducks in a row here.
they're just trying to keep independence out again. That's
Listen,
absolutely what it
that's
is.
my whole thing, and I'll be straight up honest with you that there have been people right now that have told me to drop out of the race. I shouldn't run and all that stuff. And my whole thing is, if you want to run, run. Listen, I mean, literally, demos means the people. Democracy is literally supposed to be for the people. The more people, the merrier. If you can persuade people to your message to vote for you, God bless you. By all means, you're the right choice because the people voted for you. So
Absolutely. And the beauty of being a candidate is even if you don't win, you get those ideas out and you're inadvertently kind of forcing the other candidates to go more left because they see other people are responding to you. So I think it's advantageous either way. Um, who are you running against? Tell us about the incumbent.
her name is the Honorable. Now, let me tell you right now, before I even go in on her, I give her all due deference. She is an African American woman. She's like my mother's a black woman. She's a Caribbean woman. Like my parents are Caribbean. But like my grandma would always say, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So just because we wear the same skin color, her name is Yvette Diane Clark, Congresswoman Clark. She has rep this district since she was elected in 2006, sworn in 2007. 93% of her donations are literally big money donations and corporations. Now, I urge everybody who's watching, go to openseekers.org, Google Yvette
Yes.
Clark. Do it right now. And when you see the money she takes, and then you see, what I'm telling you is from Bank of America, from Chase Manhattan, from Goldman Sachs, from BlackRock, I'm like, what the hell? You might as well be a Republican. I call her a low calorie
Yeah.
Republican. So that's her in a nutshell. She sits on the Energy and Commerce Committee, and I'm finishing up my master's right now in public policy. So I love policy and numbers and stuff. So she sits on the ENC committee. So it's very funny to me. A lot of her donations come from oil and natural gas and big sugar from Louisiana and Florida. Now, why the hell is a sugar corporation in Florida donating to an obscure congresswoman in central Brooklyn? What? I mean, your values on the line. I mean, so why are they giving you $5,000 at a time? Is it because you sit on the committee that regulates their industry? I think so. So
Yep.
that's Yvette Diane. And so as she's been elected, the problems that are facing my district, gentrification, stagnant wages, opioid crisis, over policing, they have been exacerbated. They have gotten worse, not better. If anybody's listening from New York City, if they've been in the Albany houses, if they've been in the Tilden houses and the Van Dyke houses, literally people living in NYCHA, which is the New York City Housing Authority, are living in squalor conditions. And your congressional representative is your biggest advocate. They literally have the megaphone of Congress to get on the floor of the House and to advocate for their constituents. She does nothing. She does none of that. She says she lives in the district. She doesn't hold town halls. If you live here, I've already committed. I live here. I've already committed to hold a town hall on the last Friday of each month. That's 12 town halls. My constituents will never be able to say, oh, we don't see Rep. James. You see me all the time because I'm here. I live here. She doesn't do any of these things. Constituent services are abysmal. And the thing is, I met with Congresswoman Clark as a part of my activist group. I sat down across from her, literally 10 feet across the table from her, urging her on the Green New Deal and climate change, urging her to swear off corporate dollars. She wouldn't do it. I pushed her when she signed the letter to get Amazon to come to New York City. I asked her, did you sign that letter? She looked me in my eyes and she told me, no, I didn't sign it. Her signature's right there. That's when I decided to run. I was like, you know what? Forget the activism part. You're lying to my face as a constituent, which means you don't respect me enough to tell me the truth. I'm a 32-year-old decorated Army guy. I'm not stupid. I can see your name. So that's why I decided to run. I was like, you know what? Somebody has to do something. And my lovely wife was like, I'm always freaking complaining and griping about it. So get off your ass and do it. So I was like, all right, let's get it done.
Awesome. Do you think that she'll have the guts to debate you?
Listen, I never want to underestimate my opponent. But there's only two. She only has two options in the universe in which we occupy. Either she doesn't debate me, and she doesn't believe the constituents deserve her time to hear the issues, or she does debate me, and I eviscerate her with policy. So see, those are the two options she has. So either way, I'm good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. um, so you did mention the Green New Deal. What do you think the most important factors in that are?
I can't hear you. It's kind of choppy.
What's the most important factors in the Green New Deal?
Well,
What do you think environmentally we have to really focus on?
well, the first thing we have to do is to cut carbon emissions. We have to stop the rise of CO2 levels because I mean everybody believes in. I don't know if everybody believes in science, but even the people who get on Facebook on their laptop and tell me that science is a lie, they obviously believe in science because they're using it. So everybody, I mean, there's scientists across the world are telling us, listen, we have 12 years to literally stop this. If we do not stop this, we will reach a precipice from which we cannot come back. So that is the first thing we need to do. The second thing that we need to do is we need to literally modernize our energy infrastructure and move away. We're fighting wars over goddamn dead animals and plants that are in the ground. When literally the sun and wind and biofuel and geothermal gives us so much energy. So we need to literally modernize our energy infrastructure in this country. Three is we need to revamp the entire infrastructure in this country and make it actually green. And when we do that, we can create millions of new jobs, especially for communities like mine who have been left out of economic progress. The Green New Deal is a framework of private policy. It's an overarching framework of what we need to do. So if I was literally president tomorrow, those would be the things that I would start with first. Is literally because if we don't do this, I mean, I always tell my wife that we didn't inherit this earth from our ancestors. We're borrowing it from our children, and we need to act like it.
Absolutely. Do you
Sorry,
support
I'm getting
a
all
federal
sweaty because
job guarantee?
I'm all passionate and I'm moving around, so I'm not.
I
No,
love it. Do you support a federal job guarantee?
absolutely. I mean,
Awesome.
we literally we have trillions of dollars. The Army Corps of Engineers says we need a $4 trillion investment in infrastructure because I mean, if anybody lives in New York City, they will tell you New York City is broken. It's not even like kind of broke. It's broken. We literally have trillions of dollars of work that needs to be done. Why are we not putting people to work doing this? I don't understand. Well, I understand why, but I don't understand why. Like, what the work is literally in front of us to do. Of course, I support a federal job guarantee because Republicans, I mean, they trip me out. They don't support a federal jobs guarantee, but then they lambaste you when you go on public assistance because you can't afford to live. But then they don't want to raise minimum wage because they tell you you're making too much. I mean, so what the hell can we do? I mean, so well,
Exactly.
exactly. So it's like if you go on food stamps, you're poor, you're lazy. No, I work. I make minimum wage. Can we raise it? No, you get too much money. How about a federal job guarantee? We can't do that either. And what the hell? No, I don't believe in any of that. I support a federal job guarantee because there's more than enough work in this country that needs to be done, and there are more than enough people, hardworking people in this country, who are willing to do it.
Absolutely. What is the minimum wage in New York right now?
Right now, it's 11. Oh, it's 15. It's 15.
It
But
did go to
listen,
15, you're right.
but get
Okay.
this. So, and people hear 15 are like, that's a lot of money. $15 minimum wage. Let's take first of all, so it's $12 take home pay because three of that's already gone to
Right.
Uncle Sam. So we're talking $12 an hour. I live in a basement apartment, and I'm paying almost $1,500 a month for a basement apartment. $12 an hour is not going to cut it. $15 an hour is not going to cut it. $15 is a floor. It is not a ceiling. That is literally a floor
Mhm.
wage. If minimum wage kept up with inflation, it'd be around $32 or $33 right now. That's what it would be. So that's for me, that's a floor because that is nowhere near enough to live in New York City or anywhere on the East Coast for that matter.
Yeah. I'm in Pennsylvania, and our minimum wage has been $7.25 for over a decade.
Okay, I just think about this. $7.25. People who live in New York know you got to work 2 hours just to cross the damn Verrazano Bridge. Your first 2 hours of work, you don't get that money. That's just to get home.
Yep,
$7.25. You can't even get a number one from McDonald's, let alone milk or baby formula or diapers or fresh food. You can't do any of that stuff. $7.25 is telling me, as somebody working for minimum wages, if I could pay your ass less than this, I would. But the government says this is how much I have to pay you. I mean, it's crazy. We can literally, the average CEO makes $16 million a year. 16 million. Yet the federal minimum wage has not increased in 20 years. 7.25. Nobody believes that we can live off that. Republicans don't even believe that. They're literally, they're not
no,
that stupid. None of these people are dumb. A lot of these people in Congress on the Republican side are lawyers and millionaires and judges. They're not stupid. They know 7.25 you can't live off of, but they're doing the bidding of their
absolutely.
corporate masters. They're not. That's what they're doing. Because everybody knows $7.25. 2020 is right around the corner.
Yep. And that's why I fear, like, if people say, oh, 15's too much, actually it's not enough, but
Not enough.
15 at least, you're talking more than double than what we have now. I could never live on that. I don't, and I'm
Anybody who
married.
says it's too high, I always challenge them. Listen, if you think it's too high, go and live on a $7.25 minimum wage job for a week and do everything you normally do, and then tell me, can you live on that?
Especially if you have kids.
Yeah,
I can't even
yeah,
fathom.
exactly. Kids. I didn't even factor in kids. I'm talking about just literally a single person. We're not talking about a husband and wife or even children.
Yeah, I can't even fathom. That's why when people say, oh, Trump got the jobs up, unemployment's low. Yeah, that's because people are working 3 or 4
Yeah,
jobs.
yeah. Me and my wife, because we were coming from we weren't coming. The taxi would have took too long, so we had to take an Uber back from an event. Our Uber driver had a PhD from Yale, and she
Oh
was
my God.
driving. I was sitting in the back seat. I was like, wait, what? She had a PhD from Yale, and she was driving an Uber. I was like, how is this even possible? A $250,000 degree. There's not a, but that's the thing. There are jobs out there waiting to be filled and created. It's just we need literally the government. I don't. The government is literally here to serve us, the people. That is the only reason it exists, is to serve us and protect us. That is what it exists for. Right now, it is not protecting us because we got Agent Orange in the White House about to strike another damn country and go to war, which will put all of us in danger. And it's really not serving us because you have so many problems. And it's like the Democrats, there's a difference between a Democrat and a progressive. And the Democrats in Congress get on my damn nerves because they are all beholden to big money. All of them. I'm talking about, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble here, but the Cory Bookers, the Elizabeth Warren, the Beto's, the Tulsi. Listen, the good thing about their federal election records is it's open. You can go look it up. And you see the money these people take, the money from these people you take, and they're like, wow. So you're just talking the good talk, but you're literally in pocket of the big corporation.
Hmm. And that's what's so upsetting because people don't research. They don't. Well, she said she's not taking corporate money. Well, first of all, you research that. Second of all, they're having private fundraisers.
Yeah,
That's the same exact thing without receipts.
exactly.
That's
That's
all
how
that is.
that's how they get around it. Oh, I don't take money from Wall Street, but I go get $25,000 checks from all the Wall Street hedge fund managers. So
Yep.
he just took money from Wall Street. If
Yep.
literally if you go to their receipt, then all their big donors are hedge fund, hedge fund, hedge fund, hedge fund. But I
Hmm.
don't take corporate PAC money. That's the distinction they make, but it's without a difference.
Yep. That's why I stick with Bernie. Screw that crap.
Listen, I was at Bernie's launch rally here at Brooklyn College in New York, which is my alma mater. I graduated from Brooklyn College with my undergrad.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I lived down the street from Brooklyn College. So literally, I was
Oh,
there.
that's awesome.
I stood in line for like 6 hours. It was freezing cold. My feet were numb, but we got a good spot. We were literally about 20 feet from the stage.
Oh, that's so awesome. So is that who you support in
Absolutely.
2020?
Listen, Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Don't tell me what you believe. Show me what you do, and I'll tell you what you believe." For 40 years, Bernie Sanders
Yes.
has been advocating for this stuff. He's not new to this. He's used to this. You know, he didn't just show up and
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I'm for this and for that and for this." When I see a white Jewish kid from Brooklyn getting arrested on the picket line for racial equality in his teen years, and I know before I was even born, this man was fighting for me. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
absolutely am supporting Bernie Sanders. I've already told you I'm supporting Bernie
Yay!
Sanders. There's no, there's
That's
no,
so
there's, there's,
awesome.
there's no ambiguity. I know a lot of people running for Congress like, I want to hold my fire. Why? I'm a citizen of this country. I tell you, I'm voting for. I'm voting for Bernie Sanders. That's simple. That's easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me happy and that makes my viewers happy too.
Yeah.
Um, you do have immigrant rights on your platform, of course. How is it in your district? Do you have a lot of immigrants in
Yes,
D9?
the ninth congressional district is mostly immigrant. It's 67% African American, and a lot of African Americans are from the Caribbean and Haiti. And yes, there's a huge population of immigrants in my district. The two languages that are spoken the most are English and then Spanish and Creole. So yeah, there's a huge immigrant population, and I'm the son of immigrants. My family's from Jamaica, so
Right?
so
That's awesome. Do you
my father. Hold
have
on, I didn't
you
even get that.
dealt?
But like literally, my father is not a citizen to this day. So when Trump's talking about he has a green card, he's a resident. So when Trump talks about rounding up people in the major cities, like this is real for me. Like literally, they could so the government gives it, the government can take it away. My dad's in his 70s with heart condition, so he could be deported whenever the hell Trump, has a bad day in office or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have problems with ICE in your area and things like that?
Yes, ICE comes in. ICE hangs around the courts a lot, and New York tries to push back. I don't say New York, but some in New York try to push back as hard as we can. But federal agencies have a lot of power, a lot of power. So there's only so much we can do. That's why at the federal level, all the Democrats who are in Congress right now, who are harping and ISIS, these raids and the children in cages are horrible. It is. Why the hell are we funding these agencies? We have the most powerful tool, and that's the power of the purse. Listen. The Republicans shut down the government because they didn't like the black guy. We need to literally take a stand. Literally, children are in cages. People are dying who are coming to us seeking refuge. I ride past the Statue of Liberty every single day on my way into Midtown. And the inscription that's on the bottom of it is nothing like what we're acting right now. So if Democrats are literally going to stand up and say they're for keeping families together, they're for immigrant rights, then how do you fund CBP and ICE and all these other agencies that are literally perpetrating ills upon people who are fleeing persecution from their countries? I don't understand it. They need to stand up and take a stand. If I was in Congress, I would not vote to fund ICE. I would not vote to fund CBP until we can figure out what the hell they're doing at our southern border. I don't think so.
Yeah, and Pelosi made the comment, I think I can work with Trump on immigration. You saw how she treated Elon. I mean,
You you
she's
you
xenophobic. She's
you don't appease a tyrant. Look at Neville Chamberlain tried that. You do not appease a tyrant.
yeah,
Okay, the only thing a tyrant understands is strength. Trump is a bully. Okay, he does not understand working with you and all this because his mood switches like that. So the only thing he
yeah,
understands is strength. And Nancy Pelosi, I don't understand. Maybe I'm speaking ill because I don't understand because I'm not in Congress. I don't know how the levels of power work. But I'm telling you right now, as the Speaker of the House, as the third most powerful person in the government in line to the presidency, you need to act like it.
yep. Well, she said I think she said within 72 hours of being reelected, I guarantee $15 federal minimum wage. I'm pretty sure it's been longer than 3 days.
Yeah, it has.
She's a damn mess.
Listen, I mean, I always tell Nancy Pelosi, I thank you for your service, but even the military has a retirement age. Okay, you can't be in the military when you're 70, 80, 90 years old. These people are making laws which they will never have to live under because they're protected and
Yep.
they're millionaires. And you're making laws for my children to come. No, 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 no. It is long past time. Go, all of them. Clyde, Steny Hoyer, all of them. Get your old asses out. Go. Why are you, don't you have grandchildren? Why are you here at 87 years old, 85 years old? No. What are you doing?
Yeah. I
No.
think it's a power trip.
It,
They can't, if they resign, it's like weakness to them.
I don't listen. They're more concerned with keeping the job than they are with doing the job because there's so much
Yeah.
that needs to be done. And I come from a military background where we don't sit around where if things need to get done, hey, hop to it. Let's get on it. Let's get it done. Because I mean, the shortest way through it is straight. The shortest way through it is straight through it. So let's just get these things done. Like I said, bring them up for a vote.
Absolutely.
Let the American public know where people stand. If Republicans are against the $15 minimum wage, bring it up for a vote, and they will have every one of their names on the list. You voted against raising pay for your constituents, and now they know, and now they can make an informed decision. But not bringing these things up is the wrong answer.
Absolutely, because then they can put on a facade and be like, well, if it
Yeah,
was brought up, I'd vote for it. And then people are like, oh my God, what a hero. This
yeah.
is amazing. What else is something that you're trying to accomplish on your campaign?
On my campaign is to actually give people an advocate that will fight for them. That is the big because a lot of people because my opponent inherited her congressional seat because her mother was on city council and she inherited her mother's city council seat. She worked for Congressman Major Owens that retired, and she was the presumptive front runner. Now the ninth congressional
Oh,
district, this seat that I'm running for is one of the most historic seats in the nation. This was Shirley Chisholm's seat. This was Chuck Schumer's
I
seat.
thought so. That's
Yes,
awesome.
this was Shirley Chisholm's seat. This was Chuck Schumer's seat. This was Anthony Weiner's seat. This is a very historic district. And the fact that Shirley Chisholm's motto was unbought and unbossed. And our congressional representative, I don't know if she's bossed, but she is clearly bossed. The receipts are online. You can go see it. The fact that she isn't out here every day screaming at the top of her lungs, fighting, literally fighting for people, for me, our constituents, fighting. People need an advocate that will literally go to bat for them 100%. Not because they say they will, but because they have these lived experiences. I grew up in public housing. My family lived, we were homeless at one point. We lived in the back of a U-Haul truck in a motel for about almost a year. I literally have been stopped. If you saw my dress uniform, it's full of medals and ribbons. And I've been assaulted by the police. And I'm a decorated combat veteran. I have student loans. Me and my wife are paying off student loans. You saw the tweet I put out about my wife's healthcare. All these things that are going on that are happening to other people. I have these lived experiences. And I know people in my community are hurting just like me. So somebody needs to get up and fight for these people. Fight for not just these people, but to let these people know that they're not in this struggle alone. Because if you're poor in New York, you're poor in California, you're poor in Washington State, you're poor in Alabama. If you need help in this state, you need help everywhere. To let people know that when we come together as a collective, our power is massive. And we need people who will amplify that power. And that's why I'm running.
Absolutely. People in the comments are loving you,
I'm not
which
even
is
looking at the
awesome.
comments. Listen, my wife knows because it's just me and my wife. We live in a tiny apartment. My wife has to tell me to shut up all the time. Because I'm like, babe, listen. I talk her ear off. She's like, all right, that's good. I'm going to bed. Because I listen. When I go in, I go in. And that's my campaign slogan is big, bold, and brand new. Because I'm 6'8", 300 pounds. I'm a huge dude. So I'm big and
I'm
I'm bold.
5'2".
My wife's 5'2". I'm bold. I'm not scared to say what needs to be said, and I'm not scared to do what needs to be done. And we need brand new ideas. Somebody who's not thinking literally 30, 40 years ago, thinking the past and all this stuff. We need somebody who's going to bring brand new, fresh ideas to the table, and somebody who will fight for those ideas every single day. And that's why I'm running.
Absolutely. So what is a closing thought you'd like to leave the viewers? What's a final takeaway?
Final takeaway is you viewers have already heard me talk enough. So my ask to them would just to be to help me amplify my message, help me get it out there. Because the more people that we can get our message in front, the more receptive people I know will hit. Because I'm genuine about this. This is not, I don't come from a rich family. I just decided to run, or I thought politics would be something fun. I'm a real, average, everyday American, just like millions of people. So just to help me get my message out there, listen, donate if you can. I don't care if it's $5. I'd rather take $5 from somebody who's hardworking, and I know that if somebody gives me their last $5, I know they bought into what we are selling because they know that we are true to this, and they will give me their last $5. I'll take that over a $2,700 donation from Wall Street any day because all they do is they want something. The person who donates $5 to me, they're invested in my campaign. They're invested in me. So that's all I could ask the people to do is just to thank them for being here and thank you for having me on. And that's it. Go to the
Absolutely, and thank
website.
you for coming back.
Listen, you can go to the website. You can IsiahForCongress.com, ISIAH for Congress.com, and then follow me on Twitter at Isiah for Congress and Instagram at Isiah for Congress.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I will send you a link to the show afterwards, and that way you can read all the comments and everything.
I was gonna ask about that.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And this is your show to keep too if you want to share it or do whatever you like. So thank you again so much, and thank you for putting up with the tech issues last time.
It was me and my abacus of a computer over here. So I'm using my wife's computer, so it works better.
Thank you to your wife.
Yes, I always do. She is the reason why I keep going. I promise you that.
Oh, that's awesome. See, isn't he so lovable, you guys? You're the one of those people that I'm like, I really wish I could vote for you. Like, that's one of the hard things about doing this.
Oh, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of I saw you had Josh for Congress. I know Josh. I know Josh and all the other ones. Like, I know a lot of the people you've had on.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Josh, yeah, I can write him a message right now. But he's way out in Washington. Yeah. I'm just glad we finally could do this because if everybody knows last week what happened, it was frantic.
Awesome. You guys, thank you so much for watching as usual. Wednesday night after the debate, I'll be going live because that's how I do. You guys know that. And then Thursday night after Bernie whoops Biden's ass, I'll be going live again. So probably about 10:15 Wednesday and Thursday. I'll give you guys the breakdown of just what a mess the debates are, I'm sure. But thank you guys so much for watching again. And again, Isiah, thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Take care.